Good morning and welcome back to Newswatch3. I'm Addie Smith.
And I'm Rachel Law, and we are so excited to bring you your weekly news.
This week we are highlighting the Basketball Coaches of the Year, recent campus events, and bringing you information about the Highbridge Film Festival.
We will also take a look at national and local sports and news updates. And as basketball season comes to an end, the men's and women's coaches are getting the recognition their athletes say they deserve.
Coach Mays and Coach Schaus both won Coach of the Year, and reporter Spencer Harvey takes us into the story. Let's take a look. The basketball court in the Loose Physical Activity Center lays dormant as the teams begin their off-season after fifth-place finishes at Nationals. However, the time off does not mean things have not developed for the teams. In addition to titles of regional champions, they have new titles to boast about. Both men's and women's head coaches have been named NCCAA Regional Coaches of the Year.
Well, I don't really feel any different. But it's a great honor.
I will say, good coaches have good players, so it's a blessing. I love it.
While the award honors the head coaches, both Mays and Schaus credit it to the entire team and staff that have helped their season be successful.
It's a staff thing. Because without a great staff, and then obviously without great players, you're not going to get that honor. You're not going to get the honor if you lose every game or you win 5 or 6 games. You're going to get this honor if you champion like we were in the Mideast region.
Winning the award together was special for the coaches who worked just across the hall from each other. Their shared connection with the game has brought the two close together, and they lean on one another for support. They have begun a tradition of daily mental health walks to support one another and help them get through the stress of the season.
So we go out and we just walk. We made that decision a few years ago when I got here. Hey, we need to take 30 to 45 minutes every day, just set everything else aside, and we go for a walk. Sometimes we talk about basketball, sometimes we just talk about
it's our time to ultimately check out, or if we need to vent about something, if our teams didn't play as well as we thought we should the night before, or if we got this going on, we can kind of throw it off each other. And really, after we get done walking, it's like we've purged all that out.
Both coaches have a break to plan and prepare for the next season, with practices not resuming until October 15th. In Wilmar, I'm Spencer Harvey, Newswatch 3.
When it comes to making a good team, a great coach is definitely key. The Eagles will hopefully return with an even better basketball season for both teams next school year.
This past weekend in the Jamison Recital Hall, the musical theater workshop class presented a showcase called Any Dream Will Do. The production was performed on Friday and Saturday. Students showcased a medley of songs from the musical genre, including songs from several popular musicals such as The Greatest Showman, Into the Woods, Wicked, and many more. Although the songs came from different shows, they also rented the theme for the show of Dreams and Illusion. During the show, the audience was encouraged to sit back, close their eyes, and be transported into a world of imagination, dreams, and illusions.
Asbury students were transported to an enchanted forest this past weekend at this year's junior-senior dance. Saturday night from 7 to 11 p.m., you could catch the Courageous and Surrendered class breaking it down on the dance floor. The Courageous class cabinet hoped to create a fun event off campus for the end of the year, which took place at Limestone Hall in downtown Lexington. Fun desserts, great dance moves, and twinkling lights created a magical night for upperclassmen. For many, this is a bittersweet time to celebrate the end of the school year.
The upcoming annual Highbridge Film Festival is one of the biggest events at Asbury University. Highbridge is a chance for student filmmakers to showcase their hard work on the big screen. Live reporter Haley Relaford is in Hughes to give you more information. Hey, Haley.
Thanks, Addie. I'm in Hughes Auditorium right now, which is soon going to host the famed Highbridge Film Festival. On April 15th, students and outside guests will be able to come together and watch a collection of student-made films. Filmmaker selections are planned to be announced today, so the lineup for the festival will be released soon. The main anticipation for the filmmakers will be finding out who the judges pick for the biggest awards, like Best Actor, Best Director, and Best Screenplay. During the event, students will also have a chance to make their vote for the Audience Award, deciding the favorite of the year. And it doesn't end there for students during Highbridge. The day before the main event, judges are hosting several seminars on their field and offering advice for aspiring media students. The big event is one of the crowning jewels for the media department and is a big finale for the rapidly ending semester. Reporting in Wilmore, I'm Haley Relaford. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Haley. The Highbridge team has been hard at work to bring this event to life and make this year one to remember. If you cannot attend the event, there will be an entirely student-run live stream covering the whole festival. They will have a pre-show starting at 6:30 and a post-show with some of the winners of the night. All the information for that, as well as other Highbridge news, can be found on their website.
As March Madness and Asbury sports begin coming to a close this spring, there are plenty of sports updates. Sports reporter Spencer Harvey gives us all the latest with your sports updates. Hey, Spencer.
Thanks, Rachel. The inaugural season for Asbury's track and field team faced yet another hurdle in their latest competition. For the second straight weekend, they competed in high winds at the Center Invitational. This caused them to have to cancel the discus and hammer throw events and move the pole vault to an off-campus indoor facility. Despite the turbulent conditions, senior Carolina Trump Power performed well for the day as she qualified for the NCCAA National Tournament. Trump Power led the Eagles with a performance of 5:13 in the 1,500-meter run. The day concluded with the Asbury women's team finishing 19th in the field of 20, while the men's placed 16th. Both teams will be back in Danville this Friday for the Center College Twilight Meet. Right now, the men's and women's golf teams are competing in the Bria Invite in Richmond, Kentucky. The two-day tournament began yesterday morning, and as of right now, the men have a two-stroke lead over the small field. Leading the way is Joel Costa, who was tied for first with 1 over yesterday. Costa won his first college tournament a few weeks ago in their Alabama tournament and may continue the good season if he plays well at Boone Trace today. This is the second to last tournament of the year, with the teams traveling to the Spalding Invite next week. On to the national stage, the NCAA Men's March Madness Tournament has come to a close. This year was full of upsets in the beloved tournament, leading to a lot of bracket frustration. Reporter Asa Callow has more on what bracket predictions look like this past March.
Spring can mean a multitude of things. Trees starting to bloom, frequent showers, warmer walks to class, and of course, the end of collegiate basketball season. There is one thing uniting basketball fans all across the country: brackets. In recent years, fans would have to print out a bracket just like the one you see here, write in their picks to win, post it somewhere, and keep up with their score. Today, there is a much better way of keeping up with your March Madness bracket. The ESPN Tournament Challenge app is the new method basketball fans are using to make their predictions for who will win the NCAA tournament. The app provides users with a bracket, lets you make your picks, and calculates your score. The app can also keep you connected with your family and friends through group competition.
I follow college basketball somewhat throughout the regular season, but not as much as I do during the tournament, just because that's the biggest part of the year and because I have my bracket. This year, it started off really well. Like after the second round, I was in the top 1% of all brackets, but it's kind of fallen off since then. I didn't get a single Final Four team right because it was all pretty low seeds. This may be surprising, but the best bracket I've ever made was my women's bracket last year. I had no clue what I was doing. I picked random teams, and it somehow was really, really good.
As we enter the final stages of March Madness, not one of the 20 million brackets was perfect on the men's and on the women's side. And if you think that you can predict who the Final Four will be at the end of this one-of-a-kind sporting event, there is always next year's tournament. In Wilmore, Asa Callow, Newswatch 3.
UConn took the title for the Men's March Madness Tournament. This is their 5th title as a program, and last night was nothing of a disappointment. The Huskies took down the San Diego State 76-59 in Houston, Texas. Another opening weekend of MLB is in the books. The 2023 season began on March 30th and was filled with dazzling debuts, big blasts, and crazy comebacks. Right out of the gate, the dubbed Home Run King made an epic appearance. Aaron Judge blasted 2 shots over the wall against the Giants to get right back on the board again in the home run column. On Saturday, the Boston Red Sox made a great comeback in their first appearance. After trailing in their game against the Baltimore Orioles 7-1 in the top of the 3rd, they pulled off some key hits and came back 9-8 in the true walk-off fashion. In true Kentucky fashion, let's get into what's been happening over at the racetrack. Keeneland will once again be filled with their 15-day spring meet beginning this Friday. The meet will present 19 stakes, including 5 Grade 1 events. Now, the competition boasts an $8 million prize, which is a season record. The spring meet will run through April 28th, with races happening Wednesdays through Sundays. That's all I have for sports. Back to you, Addie.
Now turning over to national news. Former United States President Donald Trump was indicted on Thursday by a New York grand jury. He faces up to more than 30 charges of business fraud in his indictment, And CNN's Mike Valero is in New York to keep us updated.
Former President Donald Trump arrived in New York Monday afternoon as he and his legal team strategize ahead of a scheduled arraignment on Tuesday. His team says he'll turn himself in.
We will very loudly and proudly say not guilty. I very much anticipate a motion to dismiss coming because there's no law that fits this. Had he been John Smith, there's no scenario where he'd been indicted.
According to sources familiar with the case, Trump faces more than 30 criminal charges related to business fraud in an alleged hush money payment scheme involving adult film star Stormy Daniels. Despite the indictment, Mr. Trump says he's staying in the race to get his old job back, which is welcome news for his supporters.
We just want to keep his morale up. He's a strong man, the strongest man I've known, and he's taken a lot of heat.
He's been very supportive of first responders as president and will be again as our next president.
New York City officials have beefed up security around the courthouse and asked people to remain peaceful.
New York City, as always, will be prepared. The NYPD and our entire public safety apparatus are always prepared.
While there may be some rabble-rousers thinking about coming to our city tomorrow, our message is clear and simple. Control yourselves.
Trump's legal team said the former president will challenge, quote, every potential issue once the indictment is unsealed.
Trump is the first former United States president to ever face criminal charges. He is expected to appear before the grand jury today for an arraignment, and then will be released shortly after to travel back to his Florida residence.
Academy Award winner Leonardo DiCaprio took the stand on Monday as a witness in former Fugees member Pras Michel's trial. Michel has pleaded not guilty to allegedly participating in a global campaign finance conspiracy with Malaysian businessman Zhao Luo, who is suspected of stealing billions from a Malaysian sovereign wealth fund. Despite Lau remaining at large during this trial, DiCaprio testified on behalf of his relationship with him, displaying that Lau used stolen money to pull favors with politicians, actors, and models in the United States. DiCaprio entered the courtroom with an escort of U.S. Marshals and was asked by District Judge Colleen Collar-Cotelli to speak up multiple times during his testimony. DiCaprio stated that he stopped speaking with Lau in 2015, and a spokesperson has told CNN that he is working with the United States to return any of the money that he might have received from Lau.
Olympic gold medalist Suni Lee announced Monday that she will be ending her collegiate gymnastics career early due to an ongoing kidney condition. Lee has been competing for Auburn University since 2021 and earned a gold and silver medal at the 2022 NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championship. Lee missed 4 meets this season, and because she didn't compete, her team and herself will not be in the championships this year. Lee said that for her safety, her medical team did not clear her to train and compete in these past few weeks, and that her focus at the time is her health and recovery. Although her collegiate career was cut short, Lee won a gold, silver, and bronze medal competing for the United States at the Tokyo Olympics in 2020. She does plan on pursuing a spot for the 2024 Olympics in Paris.
Easter is right around the corner, and nothing screams Easter more than Peeps. The colorful and soft marshmallow candy has been a trademark of the season for years, and there is one place that has a special tradition revolving around the seasonal candy each year.
I think you saw it impact full of color and amazement of, like, somebody made that out of Peeps?
For the 4th year in a row, Easter time at Peddler's Village means a total Peep takeover.
Because everything is made with Peeps.
Inside the Visitor and Event Center, guests will find more than 130 marshmallow masterpieces currently on display.
Every time it amazes me.
Joseph Albert came up with the idea for the annual Peeps in the Village event. He can't pinpoint where the public passion comes from, but he says it's undeniable.
Everybody likes Peeps. I think it's the color, it's the squishiness, it has texture, and it molds really well into fun things, which you can see here.
Here's how the competition works. Anyone can submit their work of art in one of 3 categories: diorama, sculpture, or wall art. The only rule is every submission must be made with and inspired by Peeps.
It doesn't have to be every inch with a Peep. But like your dioramas, it's going to have other fun things, and it's going to have a few Peeps in it, but it has to be Peep inspired. And also, it's always good to have a good Peep pun.
From the hot hair balloon to Home Peepo to Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts, it's clear there is no shortage of Peep creativity.
And the passion for Peeps extends beyond the competition and the displays.
Peddler's Village is also offering different food options, from desserts to pancakes, even iced coffee, and you guessed it, the theme is all peeps all the time.
Of course, peeps are manufactured in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, so we consider them very local.
Director of Marketing Christine Trianto says the Peeps in the Village event attracts locals and tourists alike. So if you want to see these peeps in person, she recommends you get to Peddler's Village as soon as possible.
There are people who traveled far and wide to come and see this Peeps display, and nothing makes us happier than to be able to offer something that is truly enjoyed by members of the public.
It is incredible to see what unique art pieces can be made out of a sweet treat.
Such a creative way to get the community involved in a friendly competition. And now after seeing that, I think I'm craving some peeps.
I'd say so too. So thank you so much for tuning in and trusting us to give you your weekly news.
Have a great day, and we'll see you next week, Asbury.